And welcome back to Backspace Academy. In this lab on Elastic Beanstalk, we're going to be using the Elastic Beanstalk service to deploy a NodeJS application and deploy it to a highly available and fault-tolerant architecture. So starting off in the Elastic Beanstalk console, again we get there from Services and Elastic Beanstalk. Once we're there, we can see a welcome screen there if we haven't got any Elastic Beanstalk environments already. What I'd like you to do now is just click on Get Started, and we'll give our application a name. We'll select Node.js as our platform, and we're just going to use the sample application that AWS use, and we're going to click on Configure More Options. Now, if we didn't click on Configure More Options and just clicked straight on Create Application, it would launch our environment as a single instance. So it wouldn't be a highly available and fault-tolerant architecture. And so as we can see here, our capacity is just a single instance and we don't have a load balancer. So what we need to do is we need to select high availability, and there we can see our capacity has changed, and it's going to be in an auto-scaling group that will have instances ranging from 1 to 4, and we can change that as well. And also we can see there that we've got a load balancer as well. So what we'll do is we'll click on Create App. And what it's going to do, it's not only going to create that Elastic Beanstalk application for us, it's going to create an environment to launch our code on, and that will be a highly available and fault-tolerant architecture. Okay, so after a certain amount of time, we've got there, our environment has been launched and we've got the big green tick there. Now what we can do is we can go to this endpoint up the top here, which will be the URL for our application, our web application. So we click on that, and there we can see that is the sample Node.js application from AWS. Now that will be deployed to a HA and FT architecture. What that means is it will have an auto-scaling group, and EC2 instances will be launched by that. And it will also have an Elastic Load Balancer as well. So let's just make sure that that has actually occurred. So we go to Services, then go over to EC2. And if you remember, we had our auto-scaling group was varying between 1 and 4 depending on demand. So there we can see we've got one instance running. Now if we scroll down, we should be able to find a load balancer there as well. So there we go. We've got our Elastic Load Balancer there that has been created by Elastic Beanstalk, and it's got one instance in service. We should also have an auto-scaling group. And there we go, we've got an auto-scaling group as well. And there we can see it's got a desired capacity of 1, which is what we're at now, and a minimum to maximum of 4 depending on demand on those instances. So what we'll do now is that we've pretty well finished the lab. What we need to do now is clean this all up to make sure that we don't get a bill. So the best way to do it is not to go in and delete resources. What you need to do is go into All Applications and then just select that application here with Actions and delete the application. So that will delete your application, and it will also delete that environment that was created by Elastic Beanstalk. So we click on Delete. So it doesn't look like anything's happened, but if you click on that environment, you will see that it is now terminating your environment. And after a few minutes, all those resources, that auto-scaling group, that Elastic Load Balancer, the instances all will be removed from your account, and you won't get billed for that. So that brings us to the end of a pretty straightforward lab, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lecture.